This is my league starter, and it works the following way. I summon some spiders, I cyclone around, I buff myself, and I kill stuff. Slowly, but I'm safe, because these are my defensive stats. With the flasks up, I'm at 50k armor, I have decent all res, 81, 86, 81, and 64 chaos res, and I'm at attack and spell block cap. I can't be slowed below base speed, and the main part of the build is the Arakalis Fang. My main auras are some Skitterbots, Despair, Temporal Chains, Determination, Punishment on the Skitterbots, and Tempest Shield. It works in the way that I summon some corpses, or have corpses in the map from mobs I killed. Then I press my Withering Jaw, and then the Gravebind counts as my kill. My kills spawn spiders, and I have summoned Skitterbots together with Infernal Legion, and they burn everything around them. And if I spawn the mobs, they get burned, and then the corpses get raised and have some spiders up. And it looks like this. I have corpses on the ground. I click the flask. They get killed. The worms that spawn from this by the Legion, and I have minions up, and I can go. Some interesting tech I use: the Ray Spectre with Feeding Frenzy, Malevolence, and Guardian's Blessing. The minion I have raised is the Marionette, which respawns once it dies. Then you give it a second, and it respawns, and you can use the Malevolence, Guardian's Blessing again, and continue the cycle. And get some skill effect duration, and you and allies gain 20% more damage over time. And if you have mobs or enemies nearby, then you also get Feeding Frenzy, which gives you 10% more minion damage, increased movement speed, and attack speed, and cast speed. Wall Haste is only as a wall aura and not as the main skill. Then when you Cyclone, you spawn corpses and you use Flash Offering, which gives you minions above. So the most important part of the build is the Arakalis Fang. And if you check the PoE wiki, then you have some different sources where you can get it. And I bought it from the wedding gift because it's just 2 cards to buy, and it was like 10 to 20% cheaper than buying the full Fang. And the Poison Faith is not really helpful for the kind of build that I play with the Arakaali Fang, because there are no good corruptions that boost my damage. Then to enable the mechanic, you need a Withering Jaw and the Gravebind gloves after the Fang. And then you also put in the Summon Skitterbots with Infernal Legion. Then you need some Desecrates level 1. Then ideally you get the ring, Profane Proxy, into your left slot. Then you lose your chilling effect, but you gain the curse. You don't put it in the right side ideally, because you want the shock for more damage. And if you lose the chill, you lose some survivability, but you're kinda tanky. In the ring, you ideally want the punishment or the despair. Those benefit the most from the +3. You can look up what different gems do at different levels. For example, for the despair, at level 21, you gain 30% chaos resistance penetration. At 21, only 30 still, but if you get to 23, then you have 32%. And if you have a 21 gem and put it into the ring to Profane Proxy, then it gets another 3 levels, so it's a 24 gem, and you are at 33%. And it's also recommended to gain the 23% quality, or 20% at least. Then you gain 10 to 11% increased effect of the curse. Temporal Chains doesn't scale too well with the levels, or doesn't hit any good breakpoints in my opinion. For the start of the build, I leveled with Armageddon Brands and Cremation, and swapped into Arakali's Fang once I could buy the weapon. I started with Victorious Charity because of the gloves. It counts as me getting the kills, and then my minions got the power and frenzy charges and got sped up. And the perfect roll, I bought it for like 2C or 1C, and you can fish for good corruptions and get like +2 to aura gems, duration gems, or all gems on the shield very easily. But after that, and the next big upgrade for also like 1C is the Ancient Skull Bone Helmet. You ideally want movement speed. The minimum maximum life doesn't really matter because the spiders don't take any damage. Then the next upgrades I had were the different charms. I have this one, which gives me movement speed cannot be modified below base value, and Consecrated Ground you create lingers for 2 seconds, the effects. Then Consecrated Ground you create applies 10% increased damage taken to enemies, and 20% chance to create Consecrated Ground when you hit a rare unique enemy lasting 8 seconds. Then the important part about the third charm is while there are at least 5 nearby allies, you and nearby allies have Onslaught, and the life regen isn't harmful but it's not very beneficial for me. I just wanted the 5 mods, and this one was the last 6th mod that I was okay with. Usually some of the Arakaali Fang builds use the Stampede because it has your movement speed is 150% of its base value, so you don't get slowed down if you use your Cyclone. If I remove it, this is my Cyclone speed. And if I put it in, then this is my Cyclone speed. It's like 5 to 10% faster, in my opinion. And I don't get slowed down that much by other stuff as well. But I still want freeze immunity, because strong boxes can still apply a freeze on you. I think some ultimatum stuff also hindered me. Then the lingering of the consecrated ground is for the 50% reduced effective curses on you and 5% regen. This charm is probably really expensive now, I think. It's like the Bottled Faith, but it has a higher uptime, and you just need to hit the rare or unique mobs so you can create the consecrated ground, and then they take 10% increased damage, and that's like a more multiplier. And if you spawn your spiders, you basically always have 5 nearby allies, and then you and all of your spiders have onslaught for increased movement speed and increased damage by getting more attack speed on the spiders. Then some of the biggest upgrades I would recommend getting is Withering Touch, level 21 and 23 quality if possible, and an Awakened Unbound Ailments, because this one scales really well with 20% quality, and Melee Splash for clear speed. Then the next upgrade combo I got was Aegis Aurora together with a Brass Dome, so I have a big chunk of armor for the Recover Energy Shield equal to 2% of armor when you block, and then I got the Spell Block and Attack Block, mainly through the Glancing Blows. Then I would recommend getting 11 or 12 passive clusters. I had this one, was some Chaos Res and an increased effect, as well as this one, also increased effect and some res. Then I put in the reduced mana reservation and uncompromising because I used determination. Then I have 50% increased reservation efficiency for the determination. And then I got enduring composure as well for the rest on it, on the cluster, and gain 1 endurance charge every second if you've been hit recently, and then get hit on all the time, like one of the pretty girls in the club. And it bolsters my resistances and physical damage mitigation. Then the next thing I needed was a ring with resistances and a lot of dex with an open prefix, so I can craft the non-channeling skills have reduced mana cost. And pretty much everything on my build is a unique. Therefore I had to get the res here, and I also got it on a build, but you can get it on the Ghastly Eye Jewels as well if you have Darkness Enthroned with a high percentage roll, and forgo the rare build. Then the next thing I got was Solstice Vigil, because then Temporal Chain has no reservation if cast as an aura, and I got as much life as possible, and ideally high regeneration of mana. It doesn't hurt. But the downside is gain Shaper Presence for 10 seconds. When you kill a rare unique enemy, the Shaper's Presence applies to your buffs and your debuffs. And if you have an Ignite on yourself, then it also gets increased by like 20%. And therefore I swapped to Presence, and then I have Despair has no reservation if cast as an aura, and Game Maddening Presence, which is increasing my defenses by quite a bit. I have Chaos Res on the item as well, and life, all attributes, and I applied the Anoint Corruption because Withering has one of the strongest effects on this build, and I tried to fix all of the remaining flaws, kinda, some increased armor and reduced effective curses, but I don't need that much because if I have the Consecrated Ground, it also applies the 50% reduced effect of curses on you. Then I have it on a jewel as well, and freeze immunity. My jewels are mainly flat chaos and physical damage for minions and attributes. They have Corrupting Blood, attributes, and reduced curse effect. Clusters we saw already. Flat. And this one has blind as well. And this one is the best roll I had with T1, chaos, and physical, and chance to avoid bleeding, because why not? And I Exalt slammed the enemies with it by you have 2% to all resistances, which also applies to chaos. And then you deal 2% more chaos damage if you have Withered, and you have Withering Presence. Every second inflict Withered on nearby enemies for 15 seconds, and then you penetrate to 2% resistance. You apply curses with your Skitterbots mainly, and your Blasphemy, and then the corpses explode. And Unholy Authority is you can apply additional curse and against hexproof, and they have less chaos res and reduced life regeneration rate. And also important for the reservation, the Awakened Blasphemy has reduced reservation override, or it has less cost compared to the regular version, so that's also a really good upgrade early on. And then lastly, I got Windscreen boots for the additional curse, and I bought a version with the highest possible elemental res, and you can probably get cheaper co-options too. And for the jewels, the priority is, in my opinion, getting Corrupting Blood, minion flat damage for physical and chaos, ideally get blind somewhere, and then the rest is attributes. And there's also a unique jewel from Abyss, the Lich bosses, which is called Amanamu's Gaze, which gives you, if you have 5 ghastly eye jewels, then you get 30% more damage basically, and it's a good upgrade, but I stopped playing the build before I got it. And then another upgrade I didn't get is the Squire, but it's kind of cheap currently, and the important part is get 8% to quality of socketed support gems, and then you can swap this for your main skill, or like Ailey made a video about this, with a second Arakali's Fang, which has no sockets in it, and you use different gloves, and then you just weapon swap it and snapshot your 20 spiders with maximized gem links and sockets and whatever, so you have the highest possible damage, but then you swap back to your Aegis Aurora, and then you get like 70k effective hit pool versus pinnacle bosses and decent damage. But with the snapshot it's going way higher. And also improvements that I didn't make is getting a flash offering with 23 quality, just a level 1, and then level it up eventually to level 20 and 23 quality. Getting a 21 malevolence, for example. Getting my gems to level 5. There's a really cheap recipe from Bestiary to get in 1 full level or something, but I didn't bother. High level Skitterbots, plus 1 level to Tempest Shield. Doesn't matter, because I'm block capped. I could maybe save a point that way. Then for the config, do minions have onslaught? As long as my minions are up, they gain the onslaught from my charm. And if I have 5 nearby allies, my flasks are up most of the time, at least these 3. While I'm mapping, if I'm fighting a rare or unique monster, then I usually have my Consecrated Ground up with the 20% chance to hit and my Cyclone. Then I have used the minion skill recently. Because of the Cyclone, I am using Flash Offering. If it's a boss or a rare mob, then I have 15 Withering stacks, and they're on the Consecrated Ground that I created by hitting them. And once they reach low life, then the punishment effect triggers. And then my maximum DPS that I can pull out without Squire is 6 million on the top end. And if you want to modify for the Squire, first we disable all of the other gems they have, and then we enable the full gems that are possible for the Squire use. And then we check how much damage they grant. And then I copied all of the gems again and put in 8% more quality to simulate how they would look in the Squire or which buffs they would grant. And these are the values of the most important gems. The Withering Touch would gain 0.7% increased damage, Unbound Ailments 2%, minion damage 0.8%, and Void Manipulation 0.7%. Then we hide off all of the skills and then check which of the 7 skills have the most damage. With Multi-Strike, we gain 45% damage. Melee Splash is just AoE and clear speed, so it doesn't show damage, so we can hide it for now, but it's usually a skill you want to take. Then Withering Touch, 25% damage to the minions, but they apply Wither, and this is like the biggest damage increase we have. The number is currently wrong, but for comparison, the 34 million goes to 22 million. If you have the maximum Wither stacks, that's a 50% damage increase if you have Withered up. So I really want to take it. Unbound Ailments is a 50% increase, minion damage 32%, Awakened Melee Physical is 28%, Awakened Void Manipulation is a bit more with 28.3, so we usually put that one out. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we take Melee Splash. Unless we have a boss with single target, then we swap the Melee Splash to Melee Physical, but most of the time you run with Melee Splash. Then you have your 6 skills, and then we have Withering Touch, Unbound Ailments, and minion damage, because they have the highest damage increase, and you remove them from here. And then these are your main skills, and you put the Withering Touch, Awakened Unbound Ailments, and Awakened Minion damage into your Squire, if you can afford the Awakened version. Otherwise the regular Multi-Strike, whatever, is good enough too. And then you have 25 million DPS if you have a Squire. And if we remove our Corrupting Blood jewel and put in the amanamu Gaze, then we gain a 32 million DPS build. But it's basically at the dot cap, I think. That's around 34 million. With some upgrades and better clusters and some more levels. Then you get the dot cap with Arakali's Fang. I currently have like a 1/10 of the maximum DPS I can have. I think I'm around 3 million usually. Put in an unidentified map and I'm enabling speed mode with widescreen. Oops, was a bad summon. Ooh, that was really bad. Now I'm at 20 spiders. Then go berserk. I really don't bother.
Welcome, traveler.
Okay. That's the bosses. And that's like, whoop. Now there's max spiders. Now max spiders and max DPS. Looks okay. It's mainly physical damage, so I'm kinda safe. It's kinda nice because the spiders are on autopilot and scout stuff in the dark as well. Then we can corrupt that stuff. Kinda take big hits because of the ignite. We are not ignite immune with the without purity of elements, but our res is kinda good, so it didn't take purity of elements, but I could swap it out with like malevolence and sustain it that way. Pulling some more packs, so get explosions and heal ideally. Didn't look how much juice we had, but I'm showing it in the bottom in a second and editing. Gee, takes a while. Beep. Ah, it's ghosted, okay. Okay. Also, getting stunned is kind of an annoyance with the build. Now with the ghosted one dead, it becomes easier, but not really easy. Got a pulsar though. Easy. Hope the rest of the map is smoother. Explosions carry quite a bit. That's a regular essence. Also hurts quite a lot. Occasionally. But usually you can kite it quite a bit. Corrupting blood immunity carries. Huh. Kinda smooth build.
Witnessing a good kill is the only cure for boredom I found.
The good part about this build and the Maven strategy, I'm not one-shotting the boss, so they always spawn. In my other build I had problems because I one-shot the boss sometimes, and it only spawned one boss or none. Sometimes it felt. Or that's how it felt sometimes. Boom.
When I'm ready, and not before.
So I got decent juice in my opinion. Putting in another map because this map was overshadowed by a super juiced essence mob. So that's the next map. Hmm. accidentally dropped spiders to 10.
I already know the winner. Time to up the stakes. Grasp your mortality tightly. Temp. Ah, death is such a beautiful caress across my senses.
Oh, let me out.
The purification pump.
Got stuck. Step, bro.
Do not let them reach the purification pump.
Rip.
When I'm ready and not before.
That was a more average map. I hope you got inspired. Like and subscribe for more. Until next time, bye bye.